Yeah. So yeah, the band is nothing more. We're a hard rock band from San Antonio, Texas. And the band has an interesting start because we go all the way back to about 2001.
Okay.
I'm the bass player. I was the last to join, actually. And I joined in '05. But Johnny and Mark, the lead singer and the guitar player, both met when Johnny was in 7th grade, and I believe Mark was in 9th grade. And they met at a summer camp. I think Mark was playing guitar in one of the cabins, and Johnny happened to hear him play and came up and asked him if he wanted to start a band with him. At high school, Johnny was trying out for. He was such a good drummer that he was in 6th grade trying out for the high school band because he was just better than every drummer in our high school. And I was trying out too as a bass player, and we both ended up in that band together. And then we also played in a similar band at church together at that exact same time. So that was when I met Johnny. And at that time, Nothing More was just getting together, but I wasn't in the band yet. So I kind of got to see it from the ground up when we were all extremely young. But so after that, I went off to college, went off to Nashville, came back and lived with Mark for a year. And at that point in my life, I saw what they were writing, and I knew the spirit behind the guys. Like, they were just super committed to music. And at that point, I kind of convinced everyone to drop out of school and or not go to college and quit our jobs and just live in an RV and travel around and pursue music. So that was kind of the initial big launch into the beginning of our music career. And that was way back in 2005. But since then, we always kind of had this philosophy that we could do it on our own. We don't need a record label. We don't need, management or all these at the time, like, unattainable things to us. We just had like that, embodied the spirit of going out and doing something for ourselves. And it's really been that spirit that's kind of, I think, made us different over the years, because it took us, 10 years later for us to finally get signed to 11-7, and then, now be on our second record with them and have 3 Grammy nominations.
Absolutely.
But without those, like, in those years of doing it yourself, we're broke. We didn't have any money to pay anybody to do anything, whether it was, fix the van or so we could get to the next gig or produce the records, anything like that. Like, we literally went out and learned how to do all those things on our own. And now, even, with a record label and with management and touring the world, like, we are still those same kinds of people.
Like a shotgun in a fist fight. Like a murder in the daylight.
Oh, we're so excited. I think the Grammys were the absolute last thing on our mind. We're over here touring Europe, and I think we were all asleep in this van we're traveling in, crossing the Czech Republic border when we get a call from our manager, and it was just the last thing we would have expected to hear, and once we finally got to the venue and settled in, and our phones are exploding with congratulations from everybody. I think, I don't know, there really aren't words to describe how excited we are.
Open me up and watch the dogs fight.
This album was a different album for us because Johnny, our singer, had previously been our drummer and had pretty much written all the drums on every other record that Nothing More has done. But for this record, we picked up a new drummer, Ben Anderson, about 2.5 years ago, and we decided that we wanted to write with him. We want Johnny to just focus on vocals and singing and doing all that. And Johnny had at the very beginning of the whole thing, Johnny had a family emergency that kind of took him out of the picture for about 2.5, 3 weeks. So me, Mark, and Ben just started cranking away music every day, and that was our first time to write with Ben, and he was just perfect. Like, all of us were just right in tune with each other, and we got to a point where we were writing about one full musical song idea a day and recording it. And then, so we ended up having 20 to 30 like full musical ideas by the time Johnny was able to come in, and that was when we kind of combed through those, picked out the best ones, and Johnny just started singing over them, and we started working, like picking them apart, and refining everything musically, and also, trying to get the melodies and lyrics all at the same time. But yeah, our process with that's usually, it's a long-winded thing where there is like there's a big spark of initial creation where a lot comes out, and then from there, it's just all about refining, refining the song over and over again, like finding the weak spot and rewriting the chorus if it's the chorus or the bridge, or going back through the lyrics again critically and going, this just isn't, it's not quite saying it right, and rewriting lyrics. But yeah, that was pretty much it for this record. And we self-produced it again. Johnny kind of heads up the production front. He's at the helm of it all, especially with programming and things like that. But Mark also does production, and Ben, our drummer, also does production. So there was just a very good division of labor on all of it. And we actually cut a lot of the guitar and bass tracks. There's just a lot of time poured in to each song. Like each song is its own idea, it has its own identity, and we work real hard on making sure that all the guitar tones and any musical part just really matches up with the words being sung. Like it's all a unified front. Like if the lyrical idea is dark, then the music needs to be darker. And fortunately, like I was saying, going the self-production route and doing the record on our own, one thing that affords us a lot more time in the studio to just go down those rabbit trails and to sit there and find the exact right guitar tone and the right vocal tone, and just spend as much time as we want until the product's done, until it's right.
My New Year's resolution.
I mean, I don't know. I love the bass guitar, and it's honestly the only instrument that I really play and have ever really pursued. And I love it because it's foundational. It's foundational, but yet melodic. Like it, in one sense, like I give a tonal value to the kick drum and also to the guitar, and I get to move around. Like I get to show people like what they perceive as the chord structure, but also I get the ability to play high, and do things and add things that aren't just the fundamental, bass line. And with this group in particular, they've always just been very encouraging to me to be ambitious with it, with effects and things like that. Like when you're saying the Great Force, like like I was just really happy with everything that, how the bridge came out. Like there's just a lot of very punchy dotted eighth delay, a lot of distortion, a lot of synth, on the bass, and it's cool to listen back and be able to express and the guitar, the bass guitar like that, for it to sound that crazy and that huge and that punchy. And I'm just really pleased with everything on this record, especially with how everything came out, and with how the writing happened, and with I don't know, just the freedom I was given to really explore with effects and also different bass lines and grooves and things like that. But you know, in my head, I'm working with some of the greatest musicians I've ever met, so it's easy. It's easy to feel inspired.
Keep on digging deep, keep digging deep, keep digging deep, keep digging.
For me personally, as far as like the bass guitar goes, a lot of it's like Led Zeppelin and Cream. A lot of those are like the classic rock gods to me. The Beatles. When it comes to like more modern music, I would say like any traditional songwriting influence or lyrical influence is more from bands like Thrice or Our Lady Peace or Ben Folds 5, things like that. I was taught, my dad's a phenomenal musician and my older brother's a phenomenal bass player and pianist as well. So a lot of my direct influence regarding the instrument comes directly from them.
Okay.
I mean, they, you know, when I was fresh in high school, every day I would come home and my older brother would, you know, give me a little bass lesson, and then I would spend the rest of the evening just kind of practicing and jamming on my own or with him or with my dad. So I'm really lucky in that way. Oh yeah, we were stoked about that idea. You know, I think with the previous record, we actually came up with the idea to have a slow motion bar fight scene music video, and it was cool to kind of to be able to bring that idea back and to actually have it work out. So, and that was our first music video ever working with a bunch of actors and actresses and stunt people. Like they were bashing bottles over our heads and breaking chairs on each other's backs. It was by far the most fun music video we've ever shot.